Welcome back to the Cage Interview, Metalheads. In this section, you're going to be watching Sean talking about the Three Tremors, Sherman, and also Death Dealer. Enjoy, Metalheads. More interviews coming soon. Thanks for watching. So, Sean, just before we talk about your other projects, why does it take? Sean's in K.K.'s Priest. What do you think of K.K.'s Priest?
Probably my favorite band right now.
Right?
Um, I'm a little biased because of Ripper and Sean. But I mean, if there wouldn't have been a Three Tremors, Sean wouldn't have been in KK's Priest. So that really worked out good. They made that connection. I remember, I got the call from Ripper. He's like, "Hey man, do you think Sean would want to do it?" And I go, "No, I don't think so. He's got commitments to Cage. I don't think he'd want to be in KK's Priest." No, just kidding. I go, yeah. So I hooked, I got Sean to talk to Ripper, and a few days later, he's like, "Dude, I got the gig." He was so pumped, and we were all pumped for him. And the thing about Sean as a drummer, not he's the whole package because he's super entertaining to watch play drums because of all the moves and shit he's got.
Yeah, I saw
He
them live
writes,
last year. I saw them live last year in Manchester, and I was hanging out with Sean for about 20 minutes.
yeah, yeah. And so he writes really good drums. When you give him a track to record drums to, he the shit he comes up with is great. And he can technically do all of it, and he's super cool to hang out with on the road. So, Ripper, we had done nearly 100 shows together as the Three Tremors. So Ripper was really obviously comfortable with them, and that all that work we did with the Three Tremors obviously sealed the deal. Ripper was pulling for him. I know they looked at a bunch of different people, and I know KK was absolutely stoked once, and it was crazy because they flew him out like, "You got the gig, now fly out and record the album." Like he had to listen to the songs. Like it was a whirlwind. Like he was just straight out start recording the album. Like fuck. So I love KK's Priest. I think the new album's great. The first album had some really good songs on it. And of course, I got to hear things a little bit in advance because I got connections
When
before it came out. So, what's that?
So I was going to say, I thought the first KK album was really good, but I thought the production was very dry. And then when they released the second album on Napalm Records, I was like, well, vast improvement. It was amazing production. I'd love them to do the first album with the production they've got on the second album.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of factors that go into that. I just, KK's Priest is doing everything right. I mean, they're doing the touring right, the music videos are right, the packaging, the album covers. That's why I'm so critical on Judas Priest sometimes, because I'm like, Judas Priest always looks like they have no money. Their music videos just look like they're broke. The one video they filmed them standing in the woods. The other one's like a live compilation that doesn't even really match up to the music. Like they need, the artwork is always. I'm not a fan of the last album cover artwork or necessarily this album cover. So, and Priest is my favorite band.
Right. Okay. So next I'm going to talk about these guys, about Three Tremors. I mean, as we all know, it started out with Rob Halford, Jeff Tate, and Bruce Dickinson, but it kind of went wrong, didn't it? And then you came with Harry and Ripper. Is that how it started? Because probably Tim got the ball rolling after the original idea collapsed.
Yeah, I mean, I'm really good friends with Roy Z, who was in the middle of all that when that was, when they were talking about it. And so I know all the inside, Roy Z was in the meeting room when it all went to shit. So I have the firsthand accounts of why it didn't happen. So I was just like going, I'm an idea guy, and I'm like, they're never going to do it, so I'm going to fucking do it. Initially, I never told anything. I don't think I've released this yet, but I don't know that I've told anybody this. We're going to make an exclusive here, but we had talked to Ralph Sheepers to be the third guy. So I actually hit Ralph up about it first, and he was totally down, and we were going to do it. Then we hit up Ripper. Then Ripper said he would do it. And then, time kind of passed, and Ralph was so busy with what he had going that it just seemed like it wasn't logistically, it would have been a lot more difficult, having Ralph since he had the Primal Fear stuff and living in Germany. So we ended up, we were doing the Keep It True festival when I was singing with Warrior, and I was sitting there hanging with Harry. I'm like, hey, dude, I told him about it, and he was all about it. And we had 3 Americans. Then I was going to get a backing band of all different all-star people. I had talked to all kinds of people, really big names to contribute to it, and everybody said yes. And then I go, you know what? It's just pulling that all together to be a live act. It's going to be a giant pain in the ass. So why don't we just have Cage as the backing band? Because I was confident in the musicianship and the songwriting with these guys. And we'll just add in Harry and Tim. And it was a good move because we were able to, it's a band. It's not some project thing. These kind of things come out and it's like, oh, it's a project you'll never see live. You'll see a music video or something. But this is, people got to experience this thing in person. And as you know,
like
in
me.
person, it's
yeah,
in person, it's fucking mind blowing. So that was the thing. The first tour that we did, we had to switch it from the Swedish music group label to my label because Swedish music group was just, they were too busy with other things. I go, you know what? I'm going to just put it out myself. But that caused a delay. And so we already had this tour book. So we toured performing the entire first album in its entirety before anybody had heard but just one song. So we're coming out like brand new, like no one's ever heard these songs. And the people absolutely fucking loved it, like going in cold. So we knew that we had a good thing on our hands after that first run. But the reviews on the first album were horrible. But the reviews didn't really affect me because I don't care what you're writing in your review because I just played 18 shows, the entire album live to people in person, and they went fucking crazy on it. So even though that was the first album I experienced like bad reviews, there's a lot of good ones, but there's a lot of bad ones. And luckily, I had the touring experience, and the true metal fans thought it was. I mean, people were coming up, greatest things I've ever seen on the 1,000 shows. I mean, every night some hardcore metalhead was coming up telling us how fucking amazing it was. And, I'm the weak link of the Three Tremors by far. So, me to be able to, the only way I would have ever gotten into Three Tremors if I started it. So that's.
I mean, it must have been really hard for you, Sean. I mean, like doing 3 vocalists on stage, trying to pick your moments. Because I remember watching you live in Sheffield, it's like Harry's turn, Ripper's turn, your turn, without crossing over each other. It must have been difficult.
Well, even though we have it down, kind of, it's still kind of loose. Sometimes we'll sing a part that we don't normally sing. It's a little bit of a free for all at sometimes. I think the show we did at the what's the O2? What's the festival we did? The Hard Rock Hell.
Oh yeah.
What's that one? Yeah, I think that was probably our best performance where we had it like really fucking tight. As far as like a really choreographed situation, but it's kind of fun that way. Like you get it a little bit different each night, and also if one guy is having a problem that night, the other guy's like, I'm going to take the high shit tonight, and there's that kind of it's a lot less pressure touring when you have 2 other singers. You can just go, fuck it, dude. Those guys can do all the heavy lifting tonight, and I'll take it easy.
So I mean, you said you had some really famous musicians that you was going to get involved. Are you allowed to say who they were?
Not really. I mean, there was some really well-known ones, but other guys like Juan Garcia was going to help me out. But he's just a really good friend of mine, from Agent Steel and Body Count now.
Oh, Juan Garcia, yeah. I know Juan. He's an Evil Dead as well. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm going to see him Sunday.
Tell him I said hey.
I'm going to the Clippers basketball game with Pete Black and Juan Garcia. So
yeah, please send my regards, please. Thank you. So yeah, I mean the three Tremors thing. Are you doing anything new when the KK tour's over? Are you guys going to get together and do something new?
Well, we just did. Cage opened up for Ripper's solo tour. We just did 4 shows in Texas, and they were really successful. I couldn't believe how many people turned out at those shows. So, and then Cage, we play Cage, and then the band stays up, and then Ripper does a set with them. So, um, we might do some more of those, and maybe, I sang some Three Tremor songs with him. But yeah, once the K.K Priest thing cycles a little bit, then we'll probably take a look at doing another Tremors. I don't know, another record, or at least maybe going out and doing some more live shows. So, but right now, K.K Priest is 100% on fire. We're just letting them do their thing, and we'll see where the opportunities open up.
Okay, then. So the Dana Sherman project that you were doing. I mean, you did 2 great albums and 3 great albums actually. How did you get involved with those guys?
That was just, Hank Sherman's Facebook page. We're doing a record, and we're gonna have a bunch of different singers. So I messaged him uh, on Facebook, on, "Hey man, I'm a singer, big fan. Let me know if you need any vocals. I'd be down for it." And he's like, I think he said like, "Okay, thanks, whatever." And then like a couple months later, like, "Hey, are you still interested in singing on the record?" I was like, "Fuck yeah, holy shit." He's like, "Let me send you a couple tracks." I'm like, "Sweet." So he sent me War Witch and Satan's Tomb. And first he sent me Satan's Tomb, or no, he sent me War Witch, which was real painkiller when it was a natural for me. I'm like, okay, yeah, I can do something with it. Then he sent me Satan's Tomb like a couple hours later. He goes, "This is the one Dave Mustaine was going to do before things got weird."
Okay, interesting.
Yeah. And that became the title track of the EP, Satan's Tomb. And so I recorded real quick a chorus for him. And that song is actually from the Hell Destroyer mythos. That's part of the story that is in between the whole Hell Destroyer album and then the Hell Destroyer versus Metal Devil finale song that's on Supremacy of Steel. So I slipped a little Cage lore into the Merycful Fate, Denner Sherman world. And I sent him the chorus, and I was just waiting on pins and needles. I'm like, "Fuck, I hope he likes this." And then he hit me back and like, "Hey, do you want to just sing the whole EP?" I'm like, "Yes, I want to sing the whole EP. Yes, I will do that." And then the EP came out killer. Me and Hank ended up being an incredible writing team. I mean, he'd send me tracks, I'd send him vocals right away, and he's sitting there with nothing to do but just tinker with his guitar and Pro Tools all day long. So the fact that I was able to send him shit like it immediately back, like I would do it that night, really helped us, because we wrote 12 ripping songs together, and we were just kind of getting started. I have a few other demos that we were working on. And I think I was the perfect writing partner for him, man. You can tell how good the song came out, and it really had the Merycful Fate vibe. The fan, most everybody agreed that, that was the first time those two guys had captured a real Merycful Fate magic, post Merycful Fate. Critically acclaimed. But of course, there were some people like, "I fucking hate the singer. The singer's horrible." Get King to sing on those. I go, the problem is King didn't write those vocal melodies. I generated a few of those songs on my own too. Like with my own, I started Hank out with some of the choruses and shit on my, through my ideas, it became songs, which he really appreciated and made into magic. And then Snowy Shaw put the drums on it and like took the songs up to a whole nother level. So I think we were a great writing team, and we could have put out so many fucking records if we would have stayed together. But
so why didn't you? Why didn't you stay together? What happened? Why didn't you stay together?
Well, King Diamond was, jealous. Weird, some sort of weird vindictiveness. I don't know, man. There was, I of course was a big King Diamond fan. So I was stoked to be part of this. And then we were going out and playing, Merycful Fate songs. and the people really liked them. And it was a band that we could do the Merycful Fate songs, but 4 Merycful Fate songs, 8 Denner Sherman songs, and the Denner Sherman songs, it wasn't a lull where everyone's like, let's go get a beer now. We're not hearing.
Sorry, you broke up, Sean.
Original shit.
Sorry, you broke up. You broke up, Sean. What did you say then?
Well, I was just saying we did, 8. We would play like 8 original songs and maybe 4 Merycful Fate songs, and it was our original shit was so strong that we were able to hold the energy of the crowd through our original shit, even though we were new, and everyone you would think would just want to hear the classics. But that wasn't the case. So, and we went straight to, being second to last on these festivals. I mean, and we were going over really good. And then, those guys were, Denner was in a different headspace then than he is now. He was like not all that excited about, touring necessarily. Hank wanted to really grind on it. And, I think for financial purposes, he probably needed the money, I'm sure, where Michal didn't. And I didn't either, but I was really excited about, the whole, playing with these guys and what we could become. And then, so we took a hiatus for a little bit, because they were always just over analyzing. We had so many offers. It was always just paralysis by analysis. And I'm just like, I wasn't able to run the show. Normally when I run the show, shit happens, we just do it and we make things happen. But they were in charge. So, we kind of were taking a little, chill time. And then I got a tour opportunity for the US. I called up, I've told the story before, but I called up I called up Michal. I go, hey, dude, I got a US tour, good money. You guys go to your hotel, you play, and then you get in the fucking van and we go to the next hotel. Really easy. Everything's handled. Okay, Michael's like, I'm in a totally different space now. Let's do it. I'm ready to fucking go kill. I'm like, fuck yeah. So we hit up Hank, and Hank's like, hey, man, I'm going to be busy the entire year. And I'm like, he's like, he was all enthusiastic about it. And, yeah, let's do it, but I'm going to be busy the entire year. I'm like, you don't have 2 weeks, 3 weeks, the whole year? Like, we can't find 3 fucking weeks. And then I went back to Michal, and he was like, yeah, he's probably going to do Merycful Fate or something without me. And I'm like, what? Like, how is that possible? And he's like, I don't know, man. King was, not happy with Michal. And I just talked to Brian Slagle, who told me what his side of the story was, which is completely incorrect. I told Slagle, I go, dude, that story is not accurate at all. So basically, King went to Hank and said, I want to do Merycful Fate. I don't want Michal. And Michal and Hank had a fucking blood brother oath sworn, like no Merycful Fate reunion without both of them. And Hank basically betrayed him and broke his word. And then they were fucking assholes about it, which that was the back and forth during that. Cause I was trying to like, come on, let's make it happen. And, let's work it out. And the shit that was talked on the King Diamond Hank side was fucking disgusting. So yeah, so I'm on team Michal, and I don't, I hate this shit in music where everything's done by emails and you don't talk to somebody face to face when you're trying to break up.
Or you broke up.
That, yeah. So I'm into, that's one of my pet peeves in music is when people
break it up again, Sean.
That's one of my pet peeves when people are not man enough to freaking, especially someone you've known all your life, and you like, oh, hey man, King wants to do Merycful Fate, but he doesn't want you. I'm sorry, I need the money. I got to do it, bro. I know it sucks, but I'm broke and I need the cash, and I don't have any choice. Okay, I would, you understand something like that instead of going like, ah, fuck you, talk shit, and then you send it over emails, and that's just pussy shit.
Yeah.
That is
Really sucks.
that's a coward, pathetic. So, and it sucks because I'd love to write. I said Hank Sherman should have been the Judas Priest replacement guitar player because he loves Judas Priest and he could have wrote amazing songs with them. And so I'm still a Hank Sherman fan, musically, and it's a shame because we could have wrote a bunch more incredible songs. But there might be something happening.
Why don't you just do a new project called Peck and Dana Project?
I can't. Well, I mean, Jenner's kind of already revealed it, but we have something working with, that involves me, Jenner, and former King Diamond members.
Awesome.
We pretty much have a lineup. We've actually recorded songs already. So
keep me posted with it, Sean. Let me know how it's going.
Yeah, that's going to be fucking big shit. So
all right then. So I'm going to talk just before we go. I'm going to talk about this band, Death Dealer, because you're going to do a new album very, very shortly. It's coming out on Massacre Records. So tell us a little bit about, the Stu used to be in Dungeon, which are a great band. I thought Tim was an amazing singer. He's probably the best Australian singer I've heard.
Yeah, during the pandemic, dude, me and Stu recorded so many songs. I mean, it's like every day we were recording. So we did this album, I think, in 2021. It's been done forever. Stu thinks it's our best album yet. It could be. The songs are really good. I think we're calling it Reign of Steel. I think that's the title. The album cover artwork is blow your mind. People are going to see this album cover artwork and just go, holy shit.
Is it like this album? Is it like this album, the same sort of artwork?
Yeah, same artist, Dusan Markovic, but it's a giant bunch of hot chicks with guns, like in the future, fighting aliens on a desolate frost planet in giant mech armors. It's incredible. Super deep. Probably his best work. Dusan Markovic, the artist, is just he's crawling out of his skin because he's done this like 2 years ago and he hasn't been able to show anybody.
So who's in the band? Who's in the band then? Who's in the band? You've got, is it Mike Lepond on bass guitar, Ross the Boss?
He recorded the album. Steve Bolognese, Ross the Boss, me, and Stu Marshall. Mike Lepond did an incredible job on the bass again. And then that's the fourth album, and then the fifth album is almost done too. I mean, we have so many songs. So we did the EP, Fuel Injected Suicide Machine. We released the EP, after this the Conquer Lands album you're showing there.
Yeah.
And we just took 4 songs from album number 5 and brought them forward into making EP. So we had album 5 completely done, but we harvested like 4 really good tracks off that one and put them and made an EP. But album 4 is incredible, and album 5, we could release it now, but we're going to write. I've been working with Stu. We've got a bunch of new good ones. So there's going to be at least 2 more Death Dealer albums. We might do some shows in America in October. He's coming out here, so we're trying to book maybe a couple, 2 or 3 live shows. We haven't played live in a long time, so that would be fun. But the new Death Dealer album is going to be on Massacre, and it's really fucking good.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to reviewing it for you, because you also did the Empires of Eden. You did a couple of songs on that, didn't you? That was an interesting project.
That's how I met Stu. Well, Stu's got a new one coming out that I have funny. So the song that I have on the new Empires of Eden, there were songs that basically the Halford solo band recorded. Roy Z, Metal Mike, all those guys, Jarzombic, and they're still kind of looking for a singer. And I did a show with Warrior when Rob Farr, the bass player, passed away recently, and then me and Z were hanging out, and he's like, hey dude, why don't I send you a song? Why don't you sing on one of these? So I sang on one of the songs. It was really Halfordy, kind of like something that would come off Crucible style. And he liked it, but he wasn't, he's like, I don't know, we're still fucking around with this, so whatever. So I sent that song to Stu, and he just took all the vocals off it and recorded all new music on it. So my vocals from that are on a new song called When the Beast Comes Out on the new Empires of Eden album. So yeah, there's going to be another one of those.
So, what else do we expect from you, Sean, this year? What other projects are you not?
Is
You're
that
not.
not enough? Jesus
There
Christ,
must be
dude.
something else, man. You keeping a hush hush.
Well, I'm becoming really popular on Instagram and in the comic book world. So I've been doing a lot of. I do live. There's an app called Whatnot, Hell Destroyer Comics on Instagram and Whatnot, Hell Destroyer Comics, and I run live like comic book auctions and like it's a blast. I just get to talk shit for hours and talk comic books and heavy metal. I sing live all the time. I'll be singing people's names and that's where I get most of my singing done. Is on those live streams. So I've been fucking with that. So yeah, this new thing we're working with Denner and Pete Black and some of the other guys. We're working on that right now. He wants to get it out by this year. I don't see how that's going to happen, but
You never know.
Pete's pretty. You never know. Two Death Dealer albums and a Cage album, and then we'll see what happens with the Tremors. I think once there's a break with K.K Priest, we might do some Cage Ripper shows. And that's it, dude. That's enough.
Right. Okay, Sean. I'd like to thank you for doing this interview. It's been a long time. Just keep in touch. We've known each other for many, many years. So, congratulations on the new album when it comes out. Do you have anything to say to the people watching this on YouTube?
Go to steelcartel.com or, cageheavymetal.com and lots of stuff for sale there. I always throw in extra shit. If you buy a vinyl, there's always extra free patches and shit I'm throwing in. So, the vinyls are very reasonably priced. Get on our email mailing list and support physical music. Support the physical product. Because we're collectors and collecting heavy metal vinyls and CDs is fucking great. So hail and kill.
Cheers, Sean. Thank you very much. Have a good evening.
Yeah,
Cheers, brother.
absolutely.